Hey guys, welcome back to the Brick House. Mel Brickman here. We got a few things to talk about today. A couple things dropped earlier this week. Some news about Alcremie being on the public test server. We got LATIOS and LATIAS being datamined for the anniversary mods, and some game modes like Electrode Volleyball and Fairy Rush coming back. So don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. And without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So let's just start off where, in case you're not aware, so yeah, Alcremie is now available in the public test server, and so now we got, all its move names, all of its animations, everything. So we'll just start with the, I guess the Unite move, right? So we have its Unite move, Fluffy Cream Supreme, Giant Cake, and user creates a giant cake and stands on it, creating the shield. User then sends whipped cream to all near allied Pokemon. Allied Pokemon who receive whipped cream have their HP restored, and their max HP increased for a short time. This Unite move ends when the user loses its shield. So a bit of an interesting Unite move. It's like just a max healing kind of thing. There's no damage increase kind of a tied to it. I think a little bit before there's kind of some speculation if like it's going to increase your damage, it's going to do any other boost. So yeah, pretty nice this team fighting Unite move, right? And we also got its moves. So we have Decorate, Recover, Sweet Scent, and Dazzling Gleam. And so Recover sounds pretty explanatory. So user places a dollop of whipped cream at the designated location. Dollop stays at the location for a short time. When an allied Pokemon picks up the dollop, their HP is restored, their movement speed increases, and the user's sweet gauge increases. Oh, I guess so. When the user's sweet gauge increases to full, the next dollop becomes sweeter, restoring more HP, increasing movement speed even more. The maximum number of uses that can be kept in reserve for this move becomes 3. This is actually very similar to Bard's W, which is I brought up into a previous video, and honestly works almost exactly the same. So you will be getting a movement speed increase just for taking the dollop, which does make it a really good item just to kind of throw down constantly. Take it for yourself, give it for an ally, like when you're rotating lanes before you can hold up to 3. At the late stages of the game, when you're going to be team fighting more, it's going to be much better to just kind of, hold up to all 3, and then make sure you can give kind of like a single Pokemon all 3. So next we have Decorate, which has the user grant a designated allied Pokemon a shield. Each time the shielded allied Pokemon attacks with a basic attack, it deals additional damage. When the user's sweet gauge becomes full, the additional damage from this move grants the shielded allied Pokemon is even graded. Upgrade strengthens the effect of the shield granted by this move. So pretty like simple shielding effect you can just give to your Pokemon, like kind of like how Eldegoss can give a pretty basic shielding effect. And it kind of has like like a built-in like attack buff, right? So you have an additional damage every time you do some auto attacks, and it also has this. It also includes this sweet gauge that seems to be only tied to Alcremie, which is kind of interesting how all Pokemon are now going to have, when Alcremie's in the game now, you're going to have a separate gauge you're going to have to keep track of, which might increase the difficulty level of this Pokemon a little bit. And then, just getting that sweet gauge full, and you're going to be doing a lot more damage, have a lot more shielding. That's going to be something like another super clutch set you could be running. Sounds very useful, like in pushing a lane, just shoving it in. And then during that Rayquaza fight, I mean, you just stick to, your attacker, your speedster, maybe even your all-rounder if they're popping off, and just make sure they got that full gauge, and yeah, give them a shield as soon as it gets full, and they're going to be doing a lot of work. So going on to some of its more offensive moves, we have Sweet Scent. So this one has the user launch a Sweet Scent at a designated location, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon. A circle of scent remains for a short time, dealing damage, applying a slow effect to opposing Pokemon that touch it, and increases the user's sweet gauge. So it strengthens, and then the upgrade just strengthens the slowing effect applied. So it's almost like a point and click slow smoke that you can use. So very interesting move, and it's going to be super useful. It seems that like you can throw it into a bush, And like moves like, you know, like Venusaur Sludge Bomb, or even like the Slow Smoke. When you throw it into a bush, the enemy can't see the effects of the move until they walk into that bush. So a move like this, they're not going to know they're going to be slowed until it's too late, until they've already walked into it. Very good move when you're doing those Rayquaza setups. Very, very good move. Just if you know, trying to catch people out who are trying to hide in a bush. It looks like it only increases your own sweet gauge, so you give them the sweet scent to increase their sweet gauge, and then give them like, you know, the decorate, shield, and damage. You're gonna have to like stack up continuously with healing and with, you know, shielding to get their gauge up. This is something that gets your gauge up, so the user that uses it. That would just be interesting to point out there. And then lastly, we have Dazzling Gleam as its final damaging move. So it has the user release a ray of light in the designated direction, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon, leaving them unable to act, and increasing the user's sweet gauge. If an allied Pokemon has a shield granted by Decorate, the Pokemon releases a ray of light as well. So this move clearly is going to be paired with Decorate, and this is where Alcremie officially hits scary territory, in my opinion. So it has a very utility-based moveset, but being able to hit so many Pokemon, and the only requirement is to have a Decorate shield on them, you can just, you know, stay way, way back in the team fight. Like further back than a Miraidon could even stand. All you have to do is throw, like, you know, a shield on your Speedster, and as soon as they go into pop, you use your Decorate. Not only are they going to be left unable to act, but if you're going to be stacking special damage, it's going to melt their attackers. And like, say there's, you know, if your Speedster has just not enough damage to finish it off, well, now you're going to have enough damage with Decorate. I think this is a very scary move that's going to be in the game, and I think the result is going to be a lot of special stacking Alcremies who are just going to prioritize this kind of staying in the back and acting kind of like a Miraidon. Luckily, its Unite move is just pure utility based, but I don't know. I mean, I'm just thinking of like kind of getting hit with Sableye Unite move, or like getting confused by Sableye, or you know, attracted by Comfey, or Wigglytuff, Clefable with the Follow Me, right? Like those are some very impactful move kits that these Pokemon have that very change the tide of a team fight, you know, being forced to attack a Pokemon you don't want to attack. So the fact that Alcremie can be so far away but still get those stuns off and remain perfectly safe, I'm shaking a little bit. I'm shaking. So here's just more of some imagery of its moves. So yeah, Helping Hand, Charm, Decorate. No, this is Decorate, Recover, Sweet Scent, Dazzling Gleam, and then Cluffy Cake Supreme. Alright, so here's just a little bit, also just Alcremie's moveset posted on Twitter. So we have just this auto attacks over here, Charm. Next we have Dazzling Gleam, so a pretty good range, honestly. Like it's a couple units of, you can go pretty far. Like you can hit them from around the triangles on the ground over here. It seems you can hit them just with the end of that. And mind you, that could be the Pokemon that you put Decorate on. You could be standing over here in these, like in the back triangles around here, to throw the Decorate on the Pokemon, who then can use the Dazzling Gleam to hit the one over here. That also hits a temporary stun, and just a lot of potential. So here is Sweet Scent and Recover. So once you get like 2, you're getting a pretty noticeable movement speed, and then 3 is like a very, very noticeable movement speed. You can get across the map very quickly. And then yeah, you can't heal the enemy Pokemon, it's just trying to show over there. And now we just have the Unite move, Cluffy Cake Supreme, I believe. So again, very big AoE. That's something that's easily gonna hit like most of the entire Rayquaza pit if you can, you know, get in there, like flash in, somehow get in, use your Unite move. You're gonna heal up your whole team right outside of the Rayquaza pit. The choke points in these in the center lane are very good places to use this Unite move, as it's going to cover so much of the area. So that's about it from Alcremie. So Alcremie will be dropping on June 12th, I believe. So about 2.5 more weeks until Alcremie will finally be in the game. Again, a bit of a delayed release than what was originally expected, but it seems that they're going to be tying into a couple other events. This is like kind of the June to July calendar of what's expected to be dropped. So we have things like the Psyduck already, that the new treasure chest challenge is in the game, so we do know about this already. So we have some platinum emblems coming out. Those are usually just on some weekend events. You need any emblems, I believe the Starmie might be a good one to try and get. But yeah, moving on though, we have the Fairy Festival Panic that is coming to the game. So it's basically, it's a little bit of a twist now. I believe they had a kind of a version of this before, but now it's going to be with Tinkaton focus. So the aim is to protect Tinkaton from advancing wild Pokemon, the fairy type Pokemon on the team, but Tinkaton will bust out some powerful moves while fighting alongside you. Tinkaton's moves will depend on the number of fairy type Pokemon on your team. So if you have 1 fairy type, it's Helping Hand, 2 is Gigaton Hammer, 3 Smackdown. If you do happen to have fairy type Pokemon on your team though, you will be getting more event points from this event, so might be worth checking it out. It looks a bit of a fun event. This being just a little bit, so like here's just kind of like an image right now, showing all of the fairy Pokemon that are currently in the game. So any of these Pokemon, combination of them, you know, the more you add, the more points you're gonna get. And it's going to act a lot like just like the boss rush modes. These modes are usually a lot of fun, so I can't wait to, so it'll be pretty fun to do it again. And then next, I guess, is to talk about the Electrode Volleyball mode. This is a mode that is currently in the Chinese version of Pokemon Unite. And it's sort of like you're fighting in this small field here while, you know, you're kind of throwing a volleyball back and forth. So, and like, you know, you're going to be fighting each other, right? You're going to be having to physically, it's gonna be a very interesting mode on, you know, someone's gonna have to be playing keep up with the ball, but at the same time you're gonna be engaging in team fights the entire time. So it's gonna be a kind of a fast-paced mode that's gonna be I think it's gonna be a lot fun, and I think a lot of the audience here is gonna resonate with a mode like this. I can't wait for this to drop, and I think this is coming very soon. Much sooner than I think this will be happening actually before First to 500 becomes the de facto ranked mode. So very excited for this mode coming up. I believe this is an image of when the Electrode goes on the ground and explodes onto your zone, so that's kind of like losing a point. I'm just kind of throwing the Electrode over to the other side. Yeah, we also got a new Hollow Effect spray coming out, little pink. And then also just the next prize machine coming out. So it's going to be kind of a Zacian and Greedent focus on them. Those are some pretty old battle passes that are going on right now. So I guess the last thing really to talk about is the Datamine leaks as well. LATIOS and LATIAS both dropping for Pokemon Unite. This is part of the anniversary leaks that is going to be happening in July for the game, so this will be the 4th year. I do believe these anniversary mons typically tend to be free in a sense, so as long as you're playing the game during this time, you should have a very good chance of picking them up. So yeah, there's understandably a lot of excitement for the new Pokemon that are going to be coming up in the game. So to look a bit more, one thing that's going to be, and I find really interesting about these, is that LATIOS and LATIAS are are Pokemon known for, you know, flying really fast. They're based off jets somewhat, and you know, they're always talked about how they zoom across. And I'm thinking of, you know, Galarian Rapidash coming to the game recently, the new Amulet coin and the Choice Scarf, and there's a huge emphasis on movement speed going on right now. And it seems that Pokemon Unite's almost trying to fill this gap of like an all-rounder speedster. And I think they attempted that with Galarian Rapidash, but it didn't work. And I think this is kind of almost their second attempt at an all-rounder who's also going to be speedster. Again, that's just me kind of theorizing right now. Obviously, not much information has come out about these yet. What we do know is that it will be kind of 2 Pokemon, it seems. They're definitely going to have different movesets. It's going to be interesting on if it's going to be like like a Mewtwo situation or like a Urshifu situation. What's interesting is that they both have the same Mega Evolution. When they Mega Evolve, they turn into the same Pokemon. So LATIAS, yeah. So when this Pokemon uses a move, its movement speed increases for a short period of time, sort of like agility. Probably will be agility. Similarly, when Latios is nearby, this Pokemon move speed increases. So that, you know, seems to imply that these are going to be 2 separate releases, which is very nice. When Latios is on the same team as this Pokemon can fly to Latios. It's going to be interesting. Is that like, are they just going to be able to leave top lane to bottom lane, bottom lane to top lane, just like kind of like a Hoopa portal, but 24/7 active and doesn't have to be on his own? Maybe. And ability goes on cooldown after it's triggered. And also, like, if there's no Latios on your team, it's like you essentially, I guess, don't have an ability anymore. It's gonna be kind of weird. And then Latios, just the exact same description we have so far as LATIAS. So 2 Pokemon that are going to be complementing off each other. I believe they're confirmed to be like the next releases for the game. I don't believe it's gonna be a mode. And what's interesting too is that the Mega Evolutions are also very similar in design, right? So they got the same color scheme. I believe like the only difference really is like their eyes, their eye color. I believe it's something very subtle. That's the only difference between them. So expect some Pokemon with very similar movesets. Honestly, there's not much to go off of right now. The other thing you can really say is that their signature move is Luster Purge, agility since they're fast Pokemon. But how they're going to differ is going to be interesting. It seems that, like, yeah, they're going to be going about that there's 2 separate Pokemon, but it's going to be very similar Pokemon. And maybe they're going to like make one a speedster, one an all-rounder, one an attacker, one an all-rounder. I can, seeing how they want you to have both a Latios and a LATIAS on the same team makes me think that they're going to be different roles. I mean, if it's 2 speedsters, like, who's gonna want to put 2 speedsters on the same team? Like, that's gonna even go against kind of Pokemon Unite's, like, oh, this is how you should build a team comp, which is gonna be very confusing to new players. So I kind of expecting them to be different roles, although I can't wait until they come out. But that's gonna be, yeah, I can't wait till they come out. But that's gonna be about like 2 months away. First, we got Alcremie. Again, 2.5 weeks. And I think it's definitely a Pokemon you got to keep your eye on. If you're looking for a new support to play, I think Alcremie might be one of those better supports in the game when it releases. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Definitely want to hear what you guys think about Alcremie. What do you guys, Latios, LATIAS? Do you have any like theories maybe on its moveset? Again, I'm pretty sure Luster Purge is gonna be in one of its movesets at least. It's just such a it's such a Latios LATIAS move, and maybe even like Reflect type or something like that for its utility move. They do have some specific moves that would look like they were kind of introduced in Pokemon just to complement them, right? So, anyways, that's gonna be it for me. I've been Mel Brickman. Thanks for joining in on the Brick House today. See you on Sunday with a new video. Have a nice day, guys.